What's up, guys? It's your boy Addy here, and I'm back with another video, playing some NBA 2K16 in the background. So yeah, let's get right to it. So again, NBA playoffs, they are hot and heavy right now, and it is getting real. It's getting into the real stuff. I mean, I'm really ready for this. I mean, this is where the NBA playoffs really gets good, and when there's teams playing competitively, and there's really good teams to match up with each other, and it's just going to be so insane to watch these two teams go head to head and at it. Hold on, I'm going to take out Dwayne Dedmon, put in Pau Gasol, but these are the two lineups most likely that they'll be playing with when the Spurs play the Warriors. And the Spurs just came off a killer performance down in Houston. I was so excited about that, and I'll tell you why in a second. I've been supporting the Spurs for a long time now, since the Tim Duncan days, and I just love the big three. I love Greg Popovich. I believe he's the greatest coach of all time, as we're going to see some animation here about the Spurs. That's pretty sick what NBA 2K17's added in there. I mean, I haven't really done much of this gaming for 2K17, so I mean it's nice to kind of go over that a little bit too. But this series is gonna be really, really good in my opinion. And finally, the Warriors, I think, will have some competition. I mean. Again, the Warriors are a freight train, just like the Cavs. Both teams on both sides are freaking amazing, and I fully agree with that. But still, the Spurs played great against the Houston Rockets. I mean, yeah, I don't think the Spurs should have played that bad against the Grizzlies. Should not have lost 2 games to the Grizzlies, but it happens. The Grizzlies aren't that bad a team anyway, so they shouldn't be given that much crap for it. But honestly, the Spurs are a great team, and they were so, as you can see the records up there, they were really close on the records. Yeah, they've had some injury problems, and that is their main problem. Otherwise, I think they could be really, really good for this series. I don't think the Warriors are gonna have it easy this series because I mean, you can just see the hot and heavy series that happened between the Rockets and the Spurs, and I think, I mean, that a big part of the Rockets' playoff rush was based on their 3-point shooting, and it just didn't help them last night. They weren't good from what they usually did, and the Spurs, they played Spurs basketball, and it was great. I mean, last night they played like the Spurs when Tim Duncan was there and he was old. I mean, this Spurs team is not that different from the one that beat LeBron. And yeah, there's a lot. I mean, of new guys. I mean, this Spurs team is now pretty much run by Kawhi Leonard, and it's a little more superstar based, along with the fact that LaMarcus Aldridge gets some post play, and I mean, Pau Gasol gets some post play as Steph Curry gets a wide open three right there. They cannot let that happen, and the Warriors start out 5-0. But I mean, yeah, they've changed their gameplay a little bit, but I think that always happens because when you get a superstar or a player turns into a superstar, you're obviously going to give him more minutes, and you're obviously going to give him the ball more. So you can't blame Pop for kind of changing his coaching a little bit to fit the level of gameplay that Kawhi wants it at, and giving Kawhi more shots. But last night they killed the Rockets, like straight up. I mean, I think I can say that clearly because they won by 39 points in Houston without Tony Parker, which I thought was a huge hit for them. I love Tony, and again, he's also a fantastic player, and sure, he's old and he's given a lot of crap for people saying that he's not a good enough point guard anymore and he can't score, but he was really playing great this series. I mean, he scored like 15 plus both first games, and I mean, he's not a bad player all in all. He's got a lot of experience. He was there when Tim Duncan was there and Manu Ginobili were there, and he was in the big three, so he knows what he's doing. It's just he needs some time. He's an old guy, and I mean, they give him too much crap for that, but I mean, honestly, I think this series is going to be really, really good. And the fact that what they did without Kawhi, I mean, to the Rockets, which is a great team at home. The Rockets were fantastic at home. I mean, they're a great three-point shooting team. The Rockets fan base is amazing, so it's tough to beat them with that crowd. But I mean, they shut down James Harden, and I think James Harden was on like a different. I don't know if he was on drugs or what he was doing because he didn't seem like he was there. I mean, if you call him an MVP candidate, he should be there. I mean, he had like 5 points maybe. I don't know. I mean, Russell Westbrook, you could give him total crap about everything, how he shoots too many shots or how his team is awful and that's why he shouldn't be MVP. But come on, that's like the level of choking that James Harden did was like that was not an MVP performance. I mean, Russell Westbrook, he went down with like 50 points. On the last game he lost, he had like 50 something or 49 or something. I mean, the whole series he scored like 50 every game. So don't give me that crap that James Harden has so much better of a team and he performs like that because Russell Westbrook all season, even not just playoffs, all season did not perform how crappy James Harden performed in that huge game. Game 6 was huge for the Houston Rockets to make another push and try to get into the Eastern Conference Finals. It would have been huge for the Rockets. The Rockets don't have an exceptionally great team, so when they get this deep, and again, I said that in my last video, you should check that out too, about the Celtics. I mean, they have one superstar, and the rest of them are kind of like great role player type of things, and even if with that, they can push through and make it to the Western Conference Finals, which the West is even harder than the East, they should be able to get a lot of good free agents, make some good trades, trade some draft picks, and get some good players, and then suddenly they're a championship material team. So, I mean, nobody's expecting the Rockets to win this year, but going into the future, if they make it in the Western Conference this year, I mean, their future's looking bright because James Harden, he's in his prime. He's not an old guy. He's right there. He's like 27 or something. He's a young dude. He's ready to prove himself. I mean, if he wins MVP this year, clearly he's like the best player in the league. I mean, and he's shown that all year. I mean, his passing abilities become great, and if he gets another player with him, that team's going to be pretty unstoppable. And I mean, I still don't think that last night's performance does not make the Rockets a bad team. They were great all year, and I still think they got further than I thought they would. But I mean, it was disappointing from James Harden's perspective that, I mean, you're an MVP candidate, and that's what you do. These are big games. I mean, if you go down scoring 50 points like Russ did, maybe, yeah, you would still get some crap about how you couldn't lead the team and like push them through to win. I don't know. People are always criticizing, but you yourself would not look bad. You know, if you scored 50 points, not even 50, if you scored 30, had a decent game, and then you just your coach put you down to take a seat because it was just so far away that there was no chance. I mean, it makes sense. You'd had a pretty decent game. The rest of the guys didn't step up. It's all good. But last night's performance was just not acceptable from James Harden's perspective. And, I mean, there's not much he can do about it now, but I mean, I personally think it hurts his MVP, like the MVP debate of him winning a lot, because that was his one thing, that the team was so good, and how he was the leader of the team, and like they're a great winning team, and they still have that record. I mean, it's not going to be taken from him, but this game hurts it a lot because he played so bad in a big moment, and he himself could not push through it, even though the team was doing awful as well. I mean, the best player's job is to at least do good when the rest of them are doing bad. You know, that's the mark of a great player. Like when going way back, when LeBron brought the Cavs back in Indiana when they were down 26. That's the mark of a great player, because I mean, when everything else was looking down, he came out and he gave the performance of a lifetime, and he played great. I mean, it is LeBron, and it's hard to compare him to compare James Harden to him. But that's your job as the leader, the main man, to keep trying, keep persevering, I mean, it was the last game of the season, for crying out loud. That bad performance in the last game of the season is just, I mean, it sucks. It really sucks. And I don't think that it should ruin everything that James Harden's done all year. I mean, he was like the second leading scorer. He also led the league in assists. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't just ruin the whole season for him, but it was just a really bad way to end this season after such a great one for him. But I mean, he'll still stay in the debate, and I mean, he could still win. I wouldn't be upset if he won. I wanted him to win way back when Steph Curry won his first one, and James Harden and him were in the debate. I wanted James Harden to win it. I mean, I've thought he's deserved it for a long time. And I mean, he's done great in Houston by himself, and even better this year because he's had nobody who's been an all-star or is an all-star on that team and bringing them to the third. I mean, he really surprised a lot of people, so good for him, but it was just a really sucky way to end the season. But moving on to this, I mean, this is a series I wanted to see personally because Kawhi Leonard's a big-time player, LaMarcus Aldridge, Pau Gasol's got a lot of experience. LaMarcus Aldridge can be a great X factor, and he's still a great scorer, and he's going to do a lot of damage in the paint, and I think Pau Gasol could do this too because these guys are great in the paint scorers, and the Warriors are not great. They don't have great rim protectors, and having two good bigs who can get boards and post some nice hook shots, as you can see, LaMarcus Aldridge just dunks on Zaza Pachulia right there. I mean, having good bigs against the Warriors is pretty essential and pretty good. And I mean, it's clearly not. Oh man, I don't know who that was. Was that LaMarcus? I don't know. He's going off right now. But I mean, clearly it's not all you need. You need a performance from like everybody, not just the bigs. Because I mean, Rudy Gobert didn't do all the work. It's just Rudy Gobert is like one of the biggest guys in the league. He's like, I mean, he's a stifle tower. It's impossible to score on him in the paint, and he's a great shot blocker, but the Utah Jazz still couldn't even get a game. So it's not all about the bigs, but the bigs really help, and having them against the Warriors, which is a fairly small team and tries to play outside, fast-paced ball and shoot the threes, it's good, but now I'll get to the downside of it is that the Warriors, they play small, they stretch the floor, and it's hard to keep up with their pace. Pau Gasol has to be, or maybe now, Pau Gasol is not going to be the issue in my opinion because Zaza Pachulia himself is not a fast player, but I think LaMarcus Aldridge is going to have to be real quick on his feet with Draymond because Draymond's going to be running in circles, and Draymond's a great defender too, so he's going to have Kawhi or Pau, LaMarcus Aldridge locked down. So that's the case where LaMarcus Aldridge is going to have to work a little harder and stay with him unless, Pop pulls out some zone or something, which he usually does. Which will just be fun to see as we get into the third quarter here. And we see this little commercial of the playoffs and my team here for a little bit. I haven't played this game in a long time, so it's good to see some of the changes that they're making in NBA 2K17, which is going to be great. By the way, I haven't thrown it in any of my videos. Might as well now. Shaq is the cover player for 2018, the historic cover player, which is great. I mean, I thought he's deserved it for a while. And, I mean, Kobe got it as soon as he retired, so I think Shaq should, why not? So, good for Shaq. I mean, I like Shaq. He's a funny guy. Comes on TNT. He's great. So, that'll be interesting to see, what they throw in that pack that you get. I think it's like $150 or something crazy like that right now, but it is like also May, so there's like 6 months or something since till the game comes out. But it'll be cool to see what kind of cards they throw in for that Shaq pack. That rhymes. That Shaq pack. I like Shaq, and he's a great player in my team. So not to stretch the floor, but he's a great rebounder and a great diesel player. So yeah. But going back to the series, the Spurs, they played so great last night that without Kawhi, that I think it just looks really good for them right now. And this kind of stuff can happen after these kind of games. But Kawhi is also a really good big time player, and if the Spurs can play like they did last night with Kawhi on their team and him playing as he usually does, they're going to be very tough to beat. Very, very tough to beat. And clearly I'm winning right now. With a minute left, I'm up by 7, so I think the Spurs are going to win here. And hopefully that's how the series goes. But, it obviously is going to be very hard to beat the Warriors. Steph Curry's coming off a great season the year before, and he's got some revenge on LeBron that he is just waiting to cash out. And you can tell this Warriors team is a little more hungry than last year. I mean, they weren't even 8-0 at this point, and they had a better record last year. So you can tell they have a different kind of hunger in them, which is kind of scary because, I mean, what else could they want to prove other than they're a great team, and everybody knows that. So I mean, they want it back from LeBron. They feel like it was stolen from them last year. And I mean, blowing that 3-1 lead is like it had a huge impact on them clearly, and they're looking for that revenge. And what better team could they have than what they have right now? I mean, they've got a great off the bench player in Andre Iguodala. Kevin Durant has he has a mission of his own in his life to get another championship, because if he comes to the Warriors blowing all relations in Oklahoma, all respect all over the country, just to get a title, and he doesn't get that this year, I literally will have even the sliver of respect I have for Kevin Durant will be gone. It will be murdered right at that spot, and I will have 10 times the respect for LeBron James. I mean, if LeBron comes in and beats them again, then he's like the best player of all time. I mean, I love Michael Jordan, and I haven't seen him play in my lifetime. So, I mean, I don't know. That's going to be a tough comparison. But if he beats him again, I mean, that is going to be pretty insane to watch. And I really think the Cavs can do it again because they're playing so great on this side, too. And, yeah, it's said that the East are easier and whatever, but it's not that easy. The Raptors aren't that bad a team. They still had a good record. They were the third best team in our conference, and the East is generally the easier side. I don't know why. It's just always been like that. But LeBron still doesn't make LeBron a bad player. It's just he has the easier side. And the Warriors on the other hand have also been easy cruising. So it's not fair to say that. I mean, the Warriors have played Portland, which was a clear failure, and I mean Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, they weren't going to do anything. That was the Cavs would have won too. And then Utah Jazz. I mean, Utah is just such a young team that lacks experience, and yeah, they had Joe Johnson, and I mean Gordon Hayward's an aspiring superstar, so they have a lot there. It's just they couldn't do anything either, and I think the Cavs would beat them too. I don't know if it'd be 4-0. I don't know. I mean, the Raptors might take a game from the Warriors too. They're different types of teams that were faced with different situations, and I still think the records would be the same if you switch the sides. So giving the conference crap is kind of stupid, but both teams are expected to get here anyway, whether it's 8-0 or 8-7. I mean, it doesn't. That's not even possible. Or it's 8-6. I don't know. It's not that big a deal. I mean, there's still. And yeah, I think that'll do it. I'm just going to chuck it up. I don't know why I did that. And yeah, that's game. So the Spurs win. But either way, I mean, the Warriors and Cavs, they were expected to get to at least the conference finals anyway. So it's going to be great to see what the Spurs can do against the Warriors and what the Celtics/Wizards, whoever wins tonight in Game 6, will do against the Cavs, because I think this is really when it's going to get very competitive. Both sides and both conferences have a lot of beef between each other, whether it's the Celtics and the Cavs or the Wizards and the Cavs. The Cavs aren't going to get it easy. They're definitely not going to sweep. Same with the Warriors. The Warriors and Spurs, they've got some beef together. Kawhi Leonard's not going to go easy. Hopefully he'll be back and healthy and 100%. DeJounte Murray right here is the player of the game. He's been great too. A rookie this year. He's been great since the absence of Tony Parker. and Manu Ginobili has stepped up insanely, and I forgot to mention that in this video. I mean, he is the one who really led them through the last two games for the Spurs victory, so great job, Manu. I mean, he's looked like vintage Manu Ginobili, and I've always loved him too, so excellent job by Manu Ginobili, and I think this Spurs team can really do some damage to the Warriors if they play like they did last night in Game 6 in Houston. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. This was my video about what the Spurs could do to the Warriors and how great this series is going to be. So let's just wait and watch and see what happens. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.